What's up, guys? It's your guest speaker, UNLV here. Got Hawaii and Ball State with me. And we are going to rate each team based off of unit, elite, decent, mid, and dreg, which we all know. Like, we've all got a couple ideas who's dreg. Bug, you want to start off?
Yeah, so it looks like we're starting off with UConn here. Now, this is a pretty, new addition to the league. They were a part of College Football 25, and they were pretty much a drag for most of the time, but towards the end, they did make a playoff run. They started getting a bit better. I feel like it's a bit too early to tell with this team. I'm not sure what their record is. I think they got like couple wins. They may be like 2-1 or something, maybe 3-0. But where do we think this team lands?
I mean, this is their first couple games on 26. I think it's pretty standard that they're in dreg. But I mean, like you were saying, 25. I mean, that last playoff run kind of reminds me of USF, and look how USF's doing this season. I wouldn't be surprised if UConn eventually fought up the ranks, maybe got to elite. Maybe even unit, but I think right now, drag for me.
Okay, what about you, UNLV?
Yeah, so as a rook, obviously I don't know, a whole lot about UConn. I was a fan of the Dynasty in 2025, so I did follow most every team pretty closely. UConn is just one of those teams, kind of like what Hawaii was just saying. Just like USF, they never really made a big push, but towards the end of the few seasons in College Football 25, I noticed they started climbing up the ranks a little bit. So, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see the next year or two how UConn shapes out.
Yeah, I think those are all great arguments. I feel like it may be a little unfair to UConn to like throw them in drag right off the bat, but is that where we're wanting to put them at?
I'd say mid.
Okay,
See, the thing is, UConn is starting from ground zero, and that's why I'm putting him at drag. It's not against his playstyle or anything. Like, I haven't seen him play yet, and I've seen his like a cell playstyle, like Temple or other drags. But I just don't know. He's starting from ground zero. Just like,
yeah.
I just think it's the standard. I think that's the standard for zero. But I mean, if you guys are cool with mid, then I am too.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm leaning a bit towards mid. I think that should be like the default position for anybody new who joins. We really have no idea if they're terrible or if they're decent. So I think mid is a fair starting point for anyone new. Unless they were just like phenomenal in 25, which I don't think UConn was phenomenal by any means. Moving on now, we have Hawaii. Now, Hawaii, what are you starting out this year with? So far,
0-3.
the record is 0-3. Interesting. Obviously, Hawaii did pretty well last season. 0-3 ain't a great start. Did you have any user games mixed up in that 0-3 start?
Yeah, I played Texas.
Texas State, yeah, that's not like an easy.
No,
it's not an easy win or game by any means. I know him and Coastal have been duking it out and going back and forth. UNLV, what do you think about this Hawaii team?
Yeah, let me interject a little bit here. I've had a lot of experience with Hawaii the last couple years. I was actually in his conference last year. I had to play him twice. He's a feisty opponent. There's a lot of grit from Hawaii. Sometimes they lack a little grit, but for the most part, they're a strong team. They've obviously had a slow start this season, but I don't think that's a great reason to put them down at drag or even mid. I mean, I don't know if I'd put them. Obviously, not unit elite. Mid might be the best way to put them right now, just because that 0-3 start, that sluggish start. But I don't think they're not a team you want to count out of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think either mid or decent would be good. I think obviously not the unit or elite level, simply because of the way the season started. But we know this team does have quality play. They've just had a rough start, and that happens to some really good teams. Occasionally, I think Toledo almost lost to what team did they almost lose to? They beat like 34-31.
Oh, I can't remember. It was a random team. It was like Sam Houston or something.
Yeah, and that's crazy, and I don't think we need to knock Toledo for that. I think just, random stuff happens from time to time. Hawaii, let's get some honesty from you here. Where do you think you belong to be ranked?
All right, pure honesty. I mean, listen, user games just aren't friendly for me. I think I only had one user game last season. It was against Temple. It was a blowout victory, but the two against Tyler UNLV, I mean those games were blowouts. Like I had no chance in either one of those games, and starting this game off or starting the season off playing Texas, again getting blown out, selling and then losing back-to-back CPE games. I mean, right now I can't put myself decent. I'm gonna have to put myself in mid until I prove myself again with this Temple game coming up. But yeah, I'm gonna have to put myself at mid.
I respect the honesty, and I think you're leaving yourself a lot of room to improve by giving yourself that ranking. I'm cool with putting you at mid. I would say probably decent, but I think mid, maybe just due to the fact that you started 0-3 would be a proper place at this time. Moving on, we have Coastal Carolina. Now, I will say, started out, a lot of people hyped up this team and this coach. People were saying that this team was going to be elite right off the bat. At least from my experience, I heard people comparing this team to Toledo before, we saw how the league kind of carried out. We saw that basically what appeared to be, at least in the Sun Belt Championship last year, a complete and total stalemate almost. And Texas State actually got the win, I think, if I recall correctly. And I think Texas State's a quality team, but I don't know where I would put them. Where do y'all think y'all would put?
But Bug, here's the thing: is that that was a nail biter last season, but this season they met up again in week 3, and it ended up being a blowout for Coastal's favor, 35-7.
Was it?
And Coastal is riding hot. Yes, it is 35-7. Coastal is riding hot right now, 4-0. I know he played another user game. I can't remember what it did. He play 2 this season, or was it 1?
Let me interject on that. They played UNLV week 2.
Oh yeah.
As much disrespect as I have for Coastal, because I'm not a big Coastal fan right now, I would have to put them at unit. They are, as a second year, not a rook anymore. I mean, he has shown true grit, has not had any close encounters, close games. I mean, from my personal experience, I could not find any weaknesses. Obviously, that was not my best performance, but I've got no complaints. I'd put Coastal at unit at this moment.
And may I also I'll add to that? I mean, I have to agree with UNLV here. Coastal has to be a unit. I mean, 2 back-to-back huge user games. UNLV, possible rookie of the year, and then Texas, a championship winner. I mean, I don't know what to say. This kid's got great. This kid's got it all. Unit.
No, yeah, that's very valid. So I do want to ask: are we reserving unit for one position, or since this is an early season tier list, we'll put several teams or multiple teams up there, and some will end up finding their way back down later on as the season progresses? Is that how we want to go about it?
I was thinking we put a couple up there at unit.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I say we put a couple, but listen, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season Coastal beats out Toledo. That's all I'm going to say. Call me crazy, but that's just my gut feeling.
Crazy here. I think we can all
gut feeling.
Closely agree.
No, yeah, for sure. I love that. I love the competition at the unit slot there. So, I think that sounds great. Now coming up, we got a team very similar to UConn's situation, Navy. They are new to the College Football 26 League. They did previously play in the College Football 25, but they were a late addition, pretty late. Do we just want to put this team at mid and just say we don't know where they're at? I don't know their record. I think they may be like 2-1 or something like that, or 1-2. I can't say for certain, but it's just one of those teams where you can't really tell what they're going to do. I don't think he was anything special in College Football 25, but it's a new league. These are basically you're starting with the teams from scratch again. So we good with mid for this one?
I think mid's a good position for him at this moment.
Going mid.
Okay, yeah. We'll go ahead and just throw him up on mid there. And
Navy is
now-
2-0, by the way. Sorry,
Navy
just had to
is
add that.
2-0?
Yeah, but you continue.
No, yeah, no, that's a great start for Navy. I think mid is a proper place at this moment, and you know, if they
Yep.
continue to rack up wins, then they'll definitely work their way up that tier list. And now we got me. I'm going to sit back and let y'all talk this one over. I know some bastards in the chat have been calling to put me at fucking Dreg UTSA. You know, so I think Dreg is a bit of a stretch. You know, a game against USF that was pretty competitive, and I'm, you know, playing against AJ Brown reincarnated, and I shanked a field goal to lose. But what do y'all think about this team here? Give me y'all's honest thoughts and opinions.
Yeah. So as far as an overall team standpoint, I mean, you don't have a great team. As far as skill wise goes, you weren't really. You kind of. That's just the team you were stuck with to start out, and it's only the second season, so no one's really faulting you for that. As far as the USF loss, I mean, you know, losses. You're not. You know, you're going to win some. You're going to lose some. USF had a pretty good game overall. I mean, you can't really complain. But I mean, we can't really put Ball State at mid. I mean, that's too low in my opinion. I'd still keep Ball State up at decent.
Yeah, see, I was definitely not mid as out of the question. I was kind of on the fence about, for me, elite and decent. I mean, Ball State before is easily elite. I mean, we've seen his seasons before. We've seen his runs, easily elite. It's just this season. I mean, can I ask you a question, Bug? Was that Wyoming victory? Was that against the user, or was that a CPU?
That was a force win, actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wyoming, as we know, the head coach was on leave for a little while and was not able to coach the game, and the team basically had to forfeit. You know, we had to advance, and I will say, yeah, that was a force win for me. So technically, if you want to look at it like in this way, I've lost every single user game I have played so far in this league.
So
I will say,
I did.
the first two were against Toledo, the best team in the damn league. But then I have this USF loss. You know, I think it would have been haywire. It was kind of like Brian Callahan style coaching there at the end with the clock management and just not setting myself up in a great position to win. But yeah.
I would like to say, I think if this were to happen last season, I think USF was definitely ranked Dreg last season. He was in the running for, I think, King Dread even at some point.
He was.
But this new USC team, I'm disappointed in you, or USF team. I'm disappointed in you for losing. Obviously, this stains your, I guess, reputation. But again, this is a different USF team. I mean, this is a very different USF team. They're playing very differently. There's a spark. There's a spark there, and it's bright. So with that, I'd have to say, Bug, I'd have to put him still in elite.
I
like that.
I appreciate the confidence. I don't know if I can rank. If I had to choose, again, I'm going to let y'all pick. We got UNLV saying decent. We got Hawaii saying elite. If my opinions to be considered at all, I would say decent. I think due to a combination of just how poor and underdeveloped the roster is at this moment, and just those big mistakes that were made in the USF game. Like, I never thought I would make those mistakes. You know, when I saw the clock drop to 20 seconds, my mind went into panic mode. And then I'm like scrambling just to squeak into field goal range, and then I shank that damn thing. You know, we got a safety who's not even like, you know, knows where they're at. I mean, it was just chaos on that final, you know, minute of the game. It was frankly terrible. I'd probably put myself at decent, but y'all have the final say.
I'm probably decent too.
You know what? Let me interject here real quick. Give you one last thought. Again, like Hawaii just said, USF is very much improved this year. Like you said, Bug, your team is very, you know, not very skilled roster-wise, skill-wise, overall-wise, and you still put up a good fight. Going back to last year, I mean, you're always at the top of the rankings, top of the, you know, you're always making the playoff every year. Not really, you know, any, you know, scare there. I would honestly put you at elite. I think I'm changing my statement to elite. If Hawaii, if you're good at that, because I mean, with a 64 overall team or whatever your overall team is right now, I think you are the worst team in our dynasty. So I would put you at elite.
Hawaii, is that your assessment as well?
I think elite is definitely fair.
Okay, I love the confidence in me, guys. I appreciate that greatly. UTSA, just to let you know, this was not my decision. Please do not clown on me for me being put into elite when I am not putting myself there. That's all I'm saying about that. Now we got Colorado State. An interesting team to say nonetheless. I feel like sometimes they look great, sometimes they look god-awful. This team is just confusing to me. I'd probably just throw them at mid, maybe drag. But what do y'all think?
Yep. I know Colorado State pretty well. He was in me and Hawaii's conference last year. Unfortunately, some unfortunate circumstances happened where he actually beat Hawaii, but we don't have to revisit that right now. Anyway, yeah, I love the kid. He's got a lot of heart, not a lot of grit. I got to put him at drag. But it's up to y'all too.
Can we pull up his stats? Does anyone have his season on record? I can real quick too. But I think mid is kind of a reach for him. I think he's definitely drag. And the reason being, I mean, he's a quiet guy. Like, you don't hear a lot about Colorado State. You don't hear a lot about Colorado State upsets. He's not really vocal in the chat. I'm not saying that makes him worse or anything. I'm saying it's hard for me to keep him in my radar. And I think if he were to be playing off his ass, or maybe even at decent or mid-level, I think we would know. And yeah, that's just where I'm going to be at for putting him at drag.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And he was in the running for King Dreg last year, was he not?
He was.
I think he was. He was in those three. Strangely enough, with USF and Temple. So, obviously last year's a different story. I don't know how well he's doing this year so far, but I think
he's 2-1.
2-1.
He's 2-1.
But
yeah, he's 2-1.
I think as of right now, probably just got to throw him at drag. Probably still in the same spot last year. Now, if he goes on a heater this year, or he has a pretty decent record and he gets a pretty good bowl game, maybe in the future he can move up to mid. But for now, I think drag is a fair spot. And now we have the UNLV Rebels. Coach Tyler, why don't you start us off by describing how you think your season's gone so far and what we can expect in the future?
Absolutely. So, yep, first two games were both user games. I had UTSA on the road, and then I had Coastal on the road. I'm pretty sure all my user games this year are on the road, but first game, opening week, UTSA. I don't know what was going on with our team. I think we just had some nerves, but that was probably the worst game our offense and our defense and our special teams could have played. So, I mean, it's probably good just to get those first game jitters out of the way moving forward. Obviously, we went into Coastal and we got absolutely, forget my French, and yeah, I mean, it did not feel good. 0-2, but then we got to go back home. Kind of, got to go see family. Got to go back to practice, and since then, I mean, we've turned it up. We've got a good team here. Good skill. We're 2-2 now. We don't really. I think I've got two more user games. We got Ball State soon, and then we got USF in week 9, which, yeah, that'll be a cakewalk against USF. But anyway. Such my season. I expect to finish 10-2, maybe 9-3. I think that game against Ball State will be pretty good. But yeah,
well, let's. I'm hoping for a good game. When do we play? How far off is that?
I couldn't tell you. I believe it's week 7 or
Okay.
It's somewhere around there.
It's
week
kinda
7,
like
maybe.
Mid-season, early mid-season, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sounds good. I think that'll be a fun matchup. Hawaii, I gotta tell you, I think I would put this team at elite, frankly. I know that UTSA game was a big surprise to everybody, but I still think, in terms of coaching and play style and skill, I think the UNLV coach is still a lot better than the UTSA coach. That's no hate to UTSA. I just think that, frankly, I think just UNLV is a bit better. Everyone has those fluke games, and I've always looked at it as this: like, the second a team gets 3 scores ahead of you, the game's already kind of over. You're not really trying as much as you are if it was a close game. You're experimenting with some stuff. You're trying to just pick up yards, get some stats. The game's kind of out of reach, so it's not really a reflection. Any points that come after that, that's not really a reflection of like the team being bad that's getting beat. I think that's more of a reflection of, okay, the game's kind of over. We're just trying to get out of here and just maybe get some points on the board. I would put this team at elite because I think they made a playoff run last year. They're the only team to have made the playoffs last year. They won a playoff game. I mean, I don't see how you can't put this team at elite despite the issue with user games recently.
Well, it's just, listen, UNLV heart to heart. I think everyone came here expecting you to dominate. First playoff run, first season. You won a playoff game, like Bug was saying. That's huge. You were elite last season. You were, of course, elite, 100%. It's just, why are we losing against 2 players who were in the run for King Dreg, USF and UTSA?
I've never
right
lost
now,
USF.
I mean, not USF, but UTSA and Coastal. Coastal is definitely not a drag. That's a very valid loss. Very valid loss against Coastal.
Yeah, so that's such a valid loss.
Very valid loss against UTSA.
I would put me a decent.
I'm gonna put him in elite. That's all I gotta say. He's elite. You're elite. You're elite.
I would put him in elite too. I think. Did you was the Coastal loss this season?
Yeah. I mean, it was close until about the early 4th quarter.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was closer than Texas, but Coastal is.
I think
they still dominated.
I would put UNLV at elite. I think they're a lot better than their record shows. I think everyone has off starts sometimes. Like Hawaii, I think you're a lot better than your record shows. So yeah,
just heart to heart. UNLV. Sorry to interrupt you, but UNLV heart to heart. Come on, man. Let's lock it in for the rest of the season. We all cheering for you. We all want you to
win playoffs. Hawaii, heart to heart. Let's get a win on our schedule.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Yeah. So heart to both of y'all. Hawaii, let's turn that shit around. And UNLV, I'm rooting for you to get a user game win this season, and not to drop any further in the tiers. I think elite, as of right now, I think you're safe at elite, though. I don't think you're on the hot seat to drop a tier yet. Now we got Texas State. Texas State, I think they're a solid team. It had a pretty rough loss to Coastal, but Coastal, that's a valid loss. I thought after the Sun Belt Championship, I thought Texas State and Coastal were pretty much neck and neck. I thought they were basically each other's equals. Like, I thought they were just completely like a 1-to-1 capture in terms of skill level. Mm-hmm. But this recent loss appears to have some doubt on that assessment. So what are we thinking about this Texas State team?
Well,
elite.
Yeah, elite. I would also put him at elite. I mean, his play style is a lot different from what I've seen as a fan last year and from what I've seen as a competitor this year. But I mean, again, the loss to Coastal is not a bad loss. I mean, that's a quality, hard loss. That's just a team that you're gonna have to play your best to win. But he's still got all the tools, offensively and defensively, to pull out a win against any team, I think. So I'd still put him at elite.
Yeah, I think that's good. I would say anywhere between elite and decent. I think elite's good. They made the conference championship last year, and while they did actually get the win in the conference championship. So I think elite is a good spot for them. Now we are coming up on Temple. Now, they did almost get a win against OSU. Now, I do have a question. Is that Ohio State University, or was that Oklahoma State University?
That's Ohio State.
That's Ohio State. What is Oklahoma State? Aren't they OSU also?
It's OKST.
OKSC.
ST.
ST. Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a close loss to.
No, they're also OSU.
They're both OSU? It doesn't really
Yeah, I
matter.
don't. This dude's lying.
It doesn't matter. Either way, whether it was a loss to Oklahoma State University or Ohio State University, um, I think Temple, uh, close loss to them. What's their record? They won a game?
1-2.
1-2.
They're 1-2.
Yeah.
I'd probably put this guy still at Dreg. He's the King Dreg, and as of right now, I don't see that changing yet, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I'd guess I'd keep him at Dreg right now, but he is. I think my prediction is he's going to lose his crown this year. I mean, he's much improved from last year. Again, a close loss, and he did play Ohio State. I remember him talking about that. I guess that's a really good team. It's a really hard team to beat. Play a really close game against them. That's definitely a win. That's definitely improvement. So I think by mid-season, close to the end of the season, I think we'll see him at least at mid, maybe not if decent.
Yeah, I have to agree with Tyler. I mean, compared to last season, he's already on a much better start. And as the overall he is, I think he's like 67. But to competing with a stacked OSU team, I mean.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to rank him at for this one? Still Drag?
Yeah, we'll keep him at Drag. We'll keep him at
Drag.
Okay, yeah, I think that's good. And now if he goes on, a heater this year, I think he can get up to mid. But I think once you're nominated and crowned King Dreg, I think you got to do a good bit of. You got to show a good bit of grit, and you got to get a good bit of wins to be able to pull yourself out of that hole there. Now we have a very interesting team here, and that is the USF Bulls. A team who went from a Dreg contender last year to what appears to be a top team in the league. They beat me fair and square. I made some mistakes, but that does not detract from how well USF played. They got themselves a hell of a receiver. I've been now calling him AJ Brown reincarnated, and I don't think that's an inaccurate statement. My only concern for USF is just losing this wide receiver kid to the transfer portal, just because he's so much better than everyone else on the roster. But it seems like USF has performed great this year. Have they had any other user games besides me?
Temple.
They played Temple.
They played Temple.
They beat
UAB.
Yeah.
They beat Temple and they played UAB and lost. They got pretty badly beat by UAB by 27-52.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. UAB's. I feel like a pretty darn
very solid team.
Yeah,
very solid team.
No hate to USF for losing that. Personally, if I had to place them, I would place them at decent. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird because they, beat me today. Granted, it wasn't like a blowout, it was by a point, but they still beat me. But I don't know if it's valid yet this early in the season for a team to jump from Dreg all the way up to the second best tier, if that makes any sense. But what are y'all's thoughts on this team?
Yeah. So not by any point would I put USF at elite right now. I mean, he hasn't. I don't think he's shown enough grit, enough hard enough quality wins yet. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad team, but again, he was in the conversation for King Dreg last season. So I just don't know if we could put him at elite. As far as decent, I could see him there. He beat a good quality elite team in Ball State. So decent is a fair argument. I personally would probably put him at mid, but if I'd be open to putting him at decent if that's where you two want to put him.
Tyler, I think your animosity for USF is really showing here because, I mean, you just said he hasn't gotten any solid victories. I mean, look at the sheet, brother. He beat Temple. Temple has, in the past, been regarded higher than to USF.
Temple's a solid.
Yeah, he beat Temple.
That is a quality win.
I'm not saying it's solid, but I'm saying that, dude, that's a comp game for USF. Like, he had to lock in. He had to push the gas on that game, and then not to mention this win over Ball State. Like, obviously, that's a solid win. I'm not arguing for his elite here, for sure not. I don't think obviously this loss to UAB is kind of tainted. I mean, if he would have beat UAB, then he might have been unit, right? He might be fucking unit, but he did.
I don't know.
And that's where I go. I think that's where we have to go. Decent. Yeah, I'll give UAB decent for sure.
I would agree with decent as well. For USF,
On the come up, dude.
I could, yeah, no, definitely agree. Like, I feel like decent doesn't do justice to what
It
USF
doesn't.
has done this year, but unfortunately, that's just the name of the tier, So don't look too much into the names. Look more into the placement amongst other teams. It's huge for USF to be placed above UConn, Hawaii, Navy, Temple, and Colorado State. That's saying something. And there's
Big
other
step up.
teams, in the mix too. So.
And I also have to add,
That's huge for USF there.
I'm sorry, but to say the kid's got no grit is, I might argue he might have the most grit in the league right now. Obviously, there's people above,
Whoa.
right? I know. Obviously, there might be people above, but this kid is pushing. I mean, he wants games done now. He wants them now, unless you're simmed if you don't get it done. Kid's got grit. Kid's coming different
got
this season.
grit.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got
He's
grit.
coming different this
That's
season.
true. I'll say today, because I'll be unavailable for the next 2 days. Me and him, agreed, like, okay, we got to find a time to play today. Like, he played before going into work, and I played on my lunch break. Like, we figured out a time to get it done.
I love that.
I think we've seen a supernova level of growth in grit for this man and for this team.
Yes.
So I think he's been doing great things. I just want to see him keep it up. I want to see consistency. We knew the potential was always there. Like back in the past, he'd be throwing like 6 to 8 picks a game, and that was just selling his games. But now he doesn't make that decision. He threw like 1 pick against me, and that was it. So,
and I will say,
yeah.
Sorry, like you were touching on Quincy, his star receiver earlier, and I mean that's the kind of edge that guy needs, right? And obviously he's been using it to his full advantage. I wouldn't be surprised if Quincy Porter will win Heisman or is in the running for Heisman tight, and he's only a sophomore. The sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, no, Quincy's a beast, and their second receiver, Ruben, is pretty dang solid too. They've got a great receiving core, I think, and the quarterback, as long as he's able to get the ball down the field, one of them is always going to have a pretty good chance of catching a contested catch. I remember playing him, and I felt like there were some throws that I was all over Quincy Porter, and he was still coming down with the ball. He's just a big man. He's tall. He's burly. He's got great hands. So I mean, I think this team can do great things. As of right now, I think it's fair to put them at decent, but they definitely have the capability to be up into elite towards the end of the season, if not unit, if they go on a heater.
Yes.
Personally, I think USF will have to see at least a playoff win to consider them for unit. But
for sure, no doubt.
Elite is definitely within reach, and that is a huge jump to go from drag to decent. And really the span of an off season in 3 games, when you think about it. Like, that's huge.
Yep.
So now we're going on to Wyoming. Came in at the end of the year late. We know this team did great things, or pretty good things at least, with Kent State when they came into the College Football 25 League. Obviously haven't really seen any play from this team this season because the coach has been out. Where do we want to put this team at?
Yeah. Got a little note. I know the coach was out. I think he was helping with some kind of child support for his kid he had with a stripper back in Vegas. But anyway, he's back now. That's all that matters. So, as a fan last year, I did follow Kent State pretty closely. But I don't know. I mean, y'all know better than I do. I'd put him at mid right now just because we don't really know how he's going to fare with Wyoming yet. We don't know how they're going to gel. But if you're thinking decent, if you're thinking elite, I'll go with you there. I don't know how he's going to fare with Wyoming.
Yeah, I definitely don't think elite at this moment. I could see decent though, just because of what we know they've done in the past. But I'm honestly cool with either decent or mid.
I think
team.
We put all the other guys at mid. That's just starting UConn, Navy. I think it's only fair we put him at mid too.
Yeah, still pretty much a rook at this point.
Yeah.
Still, he's only now getting to his first full season, and even now he hasn't even played in this season yet. So we'll keep him at mid, and then we'll see how he does this season. Now we got UTSA. I will say I was tempted to make a tier at the very bottom called D1 Shit Talker. Because of how much this kid grills me every time he gets the chance. But you know what? I don't hold grudges. I'm going to be honest and unbiased. Um, I would probably put this team at decent. I think, they got a great win against UNLV, but then they'll lose to like Temple randomly or something. It's like I remember last tier list. Me, the coach of Hawaii, and the coach of Temple described this team, or at least Hawaii and Temple did. They described this team as weird, and I don't think they're weird because of their wins and losses. I think it's just like kind of weird in the way they play sometimes. Like they'll be like I remember at least when I was watching them play, the one game I saw, they were going for like an onside every other kickoff, and they were going for it like doing like fake punts on 4th and 15 from their own 35-yard line, just like random stuff like that, which is just kind of weird. It's like I don't know. I mean, I think I'd put this team at decent just because we know they've been able to beat users. We know they're capable of getting a pretty good record. But what do y'all think?
Yep. I've got a little experience playing him. I played him week 1. He did beat me. Again, that was probably the worst game I've ever played, but I mean, I can't argue. It's a loss is a loss. I would put him at decent. He played good. I played bad, but he definitely did play good, offense and defense. Going off what you were saying, he weird is the perfect word to describe this team. It's just the way they play. They'll run weird plays. They'll throw it to the running back who will throw it to the receiver 50 yards downfield. It'll somehow end up being a touchdown. Next play, he'll ladder up backwards, and the other team will run it for a touchdown. Very weird team here, but if they can pull it together, if they keep consistent, have how they're doing, then I think they're a decent team.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think decent's definitely right for them. They remind me a lot of USF in the way they're riding this big win, right? This underdog victory they got. They have to ride this momentum, and I think they're showing flashes of greatness. And yeah, I think decent's perfect.
Yeah. Now, what conference are they in? Are they in the Pac-12?
Yes, we're in the Pac-12.
I think they're a dark horse contender for the conference championship, to be honest. Like I think the top two contenders are probably me and UNLV, but I mean this loss to USF is going to hurt me greatly because it's a
Same with
conference game.
Same with UTSA for me.
UTSA and UNLV, that's a huge loss for UNLV, a huge win for UTSA. So we could see a weird Pac-12 conference championship.
There's gonna be 4 teams racing for that conference championship at the end.
Yeah, like a crazy conference championship would be like USF and UTSA. Like I don't think anyone would have seen that coming, but it's totally within the realm of possibility. Especially like if they just
It is.
if they have good seasons, if they have good records, they'll beat us out for tiebreakers if they have records tied with us. And I play UTSA later this season. I very well could lose to them. I think they have a pretty solid roster, and if they're capable of beating UNLV, they're definitely capable of beating me. I think decent for now is good. Kind of see like USF and UTSA paired up there within to be in the running for the conference championship, which is I don't think anything people would have expected going into the season. Hawaii, what do you think about this team?
I mean, I put in my thought. It's definitely decent. I love this USF UTSA comparison. I think both, again, like I said, riding similar victories, but I get like they're also competing against each other. I think I remember last season. I don't know if UTSA was in the running for King Dreg, but he was definitely down there. And I know it's really interesting how it's faring and shaping up. Like you said, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think we had UTSA at mid last time, so we'll put them at decent. I think they're I think they're a solid team. I think they can do some good things and they can do some terrible things. We'll just see if they can maintain consistency. And
Let me ask one question real quick. Do USF and UTSA play each other in the regular season this year?
I have no idea.
That would be a great game.
That is a great question. If they do that, all these conference user games are going to shake up the running for the championship greatly. I mean, it's anyone's game at this point. Like I could see myself losing to UTSA later this season, but UTSA then like losing to like a terrible AI team. Like like
they lost to Tulane.
It's a weird team. Yeah, he did lose to Tulane.
Tulane is a good team, though.
They're solid, but like I think I remember like I want to say he lost to like some shitter team last year after losing to
Mm-hmm.
Temple. Like I
He
think at
did.
one point he lost to like Army or Navy or something when Navy was like controlled by NPC. And like I don't understand how you lose those games. Like, and he had like what roster overall did he start out with last year? Like an 84 or something?
Oh yeah, it was
Like
pretty high.
something like the highest in the league, I think, in
Mhm.
terms of overall starting out. So I mean, like I think decent's the right start or the right spot. I think they got good roster. They're capable of good play. We'll just see if they're able to continue the wave and keep getting those wins. Um, Now we got Toledo. We can still have a discussion about this team, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw them up here. I mean, I don't care if they only beat some nobody
Yeah.
team by 3 points. They're a unit. Until
Um,
a team like beats him in the national championship, I think he's always going to be an undisputed unit.
Mhm.
I have a question about Toledo. As for you, Doug, as commissioner or one of them, um, what's up with the second play for Toledo? I'm not accusing him of anything. I just want to know if you have any insight on that.
I think I remember seeing something in the conference chat about or the the chat about him having some type of crash or something, some type of bug happening where the game crashed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know the full story on that. I know Navy had a second attempt for a game, but they were new and we kind of just gave them some slack, and now they know you can't do that. So I think Toledo had a valid excuse. I don't think they would lie and like purposely disconnect their router or something to like make the game crash. But yeah, I think I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we need any further discussion about
Nah.
Toledo, or do we know
I've
like
got
that's where they are?
I've got nothing to add on. I mean, Toledo definitely deserves to be up there with Coastal in the unit tab.
Yeah. Yeah, now we got a UAB. This is our final team we're placing. New team, second season. I think they've done great things. They killed USF today, or not today, but they killed USF earlier this season, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and USF is a team that's going on a heater. Um, so I mean, I think I'd put UAB at elite probably.
Yep, I would too.
Uh, I'm really liking what I'm seeing at a UAB. I feel like he's got everybody against him being the rook and obviously not being that present. It sucks that he got the force L or simmed L against Michigan. I think he definitely would have had a shot against Michigan, if not a win. But yeah, I think Elite is perfect for him. Excited to see how his season turns out. I mean, he's playing Toledo and Texas at the very end of his season.
Yeah,
So he's really going to get the chance to prove his worth here. But yeah,
yeah.
Elite's perfect with me.
Yep, I'd say the one thing UAB's got to improve on is grit. That's the one word. I think there's
Yeah.
sometimes a lack of grit with him, and in regard to playing his games on time, in regard to prioritizing the dynasty, because that's what it's all about in the end for all these teams is grit, and you always got to prioritize your team, But yeah, I mean, as far as ranking him, I would definitely also put him at a lead. I mean, he's shown very very high capabilities of performing with those top teams, and it'll be really interesting to see how he does against good teams like Toledo and Texas State.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You make great points about the grit. I think that's the only thing that he needs to improve on is
Yeah.
just, being there, being ready, communicating, and just like showing
Yeah.
overall grit. But that's one of the easiest things to fix, So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I think that's our tier list right there. I mean, pretty good look. We
wait,
got.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Can I say something personal, UAB? UAB, if you're listening, I hope you are listening because this tier list is about us, and you're in the dynasty, right? Um, UAB, please, you got the talent. We just got to see the heart. I just want to see the heart. I want to see a good player. I want to see you be a unit. Okay. Remember these words.
You can be.
You can be. All right, sorry, then take us out.
You're all good. Yeah, I'll just speak to you, AB, real quick. These boys are rooting for you. Those are words of wisdom and words of encouragement. So get it done. Um, and that's our tier list. We can do a brief overview real quick. We got the top of the tiers unit with Coastal Carolina and Toledo. At Elite, we have Ball State, UNLV, Texas State, and UAB. At Decent, remember, Decent isn't really a great reflection of what the USF team is, but I think we got USF and UTSA there at that same level right there, right below Elite. Elite's tiers in reach for both of those teams, potentially. We got mid, where it's just kind of a toss-up. Yukon, Hawaii, Navy, and Wyoming. I think Hawaii, definitely it's a bit unfair for Hawaii, but just a bad start to the season, a little too much of a bad start to ignore, unfortunately. And then we got our two dregs, Colorado State and the King Dreg Temple. Temple, I hope for your team, for your future, that you do not remain with your crown, but monarchs can reign for quite a long time. And let's hope your reign is short and brief, because it is no honor to be a king drag. In fact, it is a curse. Do y'all have any final thoughts, fellas?
No, I mean, that list sums it up perfectly. We've got a very even league, as we can see here. Even on the top, even on the bottom, even in the middle. I mean, got a great league going. We just need everyone to keep their grit, keep their momentum, keep their heart, and we'll see how it all turns out.
Sounds great. Head coach of Hawaii, since UNLV introduced us, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
All right, Units fans. This has been Hawaii, Ball State, and UNLV. I hope you guys liked it. And feel free to leave a comment, a like, and make sure to press that big red subscribe button. Notifications, too, would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, you need to
Go
just
ahead and redo it.
cut
I'll
that out. Thanks, Unit. Cut that one out. Thanks, Units Dynasty fans. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys again. This was me, Bug, and Tyler. And yeah, come on, stay gritty, stay faithful. Delete that. I gotta get a script going for this one. Hold on.
What? Dude, just finish it up, bro. Just improv.
Hey, all right.